The anthologies for Season 8, Anything But Murder, are available as ebooks and paperback. Larceny and Lies and Heists and Hooligans are structured just like our podcast, giving you and the mystery lovers on your holiday list the thrill of playing along with the detective. It's available on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and all online book retailers. Welcome to Mysteries to Die For. I am TG Wolff, and I'm here with Jack, who is having a lot of fun with his keyboard today. This is a podcast where we combine storytelling with original music to put you at the heart of a mystery. All stories are structured to challenge you to beat the detective to the solution. Jack and I perform these live, front to back, no breaks, no fakes, no retakes. Our social media is alive and kicking. Check out our Instagram at Mysteries to Die For, all spelled out, and on Facebook at M2D4 Podcast for the pulse of the show's happenings. And explore our website, m2d4podcast.com, for links to all of our episodes and our authors. The rules for law and order create the boundaries for civil coexistence, and ideally, the backdrops for individuals, families, and companies to grow and thrive. Breaking these rules puts civil order at risk, and while murder is the big daddy of crimes, codified ordinances across municipal divisions, counties, states, and countries show the nearly endless ways there are to create mayhem. This season, we put our detective skills to the test with murderless crimes. This is Season 8, Anything But Murder. And welcome to Episode 23, where something is the featured crime. This is Detective Connolly Gets Filmed in 4K by Jack Wolff. All right, Jack, so we have arrived at the last episode of Season 8, Anything But Murder.
That we have.
So any stories stand out to you as your favorites?
Well, because this isn't rehearsed and I don't have something written down, I'm going to just go off the top of my head and say Jason Little's Safe Haven was nice and messed up, a personal favorite of mine. I have a particular soft spot for surrealism and the abstract, which Jason Little achieved spectacularly. That's just, off the cuff.
Off the cuff,
just
totally off the
what
cuff.
I was thinking of.
Well, I love mysteries driven by characters.
Yes.
So top of my list.
Yes.
New author for us recently is Robert J. Binney.
Robbie.
And he created Henri Beauchamp.
Henri is such a pleasure.
He is.
To
So we had two Henri stories. We had Clipped and Toxic.
Yep.
And then Larry M. Keaton created a new detective named Drake.
Yes.
I really like Drake, too.
Yes, he is very entertaining. I will say, as much fun as I have reading these, I learned I apparently don't remember them very long after because we were trying to choose them, and I was like, whoa, what have we recorded this season? And half of the stories that I think of, I'm like, well, that was last season, right? That's what I thought Jason Little's was last season. No. These seasons are just long, apparently, and I just forgot that was this season.
I mean, they cover an entire year.
Yeah. Oh, they do. But no, it was weird because we're recording this the day before Thanksgiving, and Jason Little's was released in, what was it?
I think it was April. Yeah.
April. So I mean, it
was
been
a double
while.
episode one.
Yeah, which probably means we also recorded it quite a bit before the day it was even released. So.
And usually the way I can remember what season is by themes, because I remember going back and forth with Jason about it was Anything But Murder. At one point he had somebody dying. I'm like, but it's Anything But Murder. And so he edited that part out.
Yeah. But no, these are some pretty long and entertaining seasons. So I hope you enjoy next season's stuff.
Well, I made a list of some prize winners.
Yes, go for them.
So, the prize for making me cry while trying to record an episode goes to Deborah H. Goldstein for the Opera Dinner Club.
Yeah, you're a little dramatic. It's a good story. Don't get me wrong. Go listen to it, and you can hear him cry. But
the World War II era, well, modern telling of a old story.
a modern telling, yeah.
Let's
I
see.
don't know what to tell you.
The prize for using big words that make me trip over my tongue goes to Erica Obe with, was it the Vermeer?
Yes, the Vermeer.
I practiced like 5 out of 6 big words.
You do.
It was the 6th one that got me.
Yep. And, we still got to give you credit on the other 5, as much as I'd love to make fun of you.
Now, when it comes to dirty words, you were in the top 2 with using the word cock 22 times.
Yeah.
In Detective Connolly Gets Down and Dirty.
Uh-huh.
I at least appreciated that I wasn't reading that one. But it's Ken Harris that took home the prize for the butterfly effect and the number of times he got me to say the word fuck.
30.
30 times.
It's impressive. It's an impressive amount, especially for the butterfly effect. I mean, the name of that is like, well, let us do a little bit of butterfly effect. It's going to be nice and philosophical, and we'll see. No, we're using the F-bomb 30 times.
Yep.
In an hour.
Guys,
it's an hour episode. It's not like this is a movie and it's like, 2 hours. No, 1.
When Jack and I come up with these themes, we're never quite sure what we're going to get. Like, we just throw them out there, and we want people to be creative. Right?
Yes.
The more creative, the better.
Yes.
And I have to say, I think this season worked pretty well.
I'd say so, in my own personal opinion.
And I'm really excited to end it here with, speaking of character-driven stories, one of my favorites, Detective Connolly.
Yes.
He's just such in the mold of, like, Inspector Clouseau.
He is.
Inspector Gadget.
I feel when I really try to think of Pink Panther. Oh, what's the name? Peter Sellers.
Yes.
Peter Sellers in Pink Panther. Not like a lot of Peter Sellers. This is like an American Peter Sellers, And you can really feel it, too.
So Jack's going to read this one like he does all Connolly's.
Yes.
And I will get out of the way by saying, sorry, Canada.
Yes, I will also say I'm a little bit sick, which started yesterday morning. So I apologize if you hear me cough or choke or die.
It's not me. I'm not choking.
I know. It's a first, isn't it? Normally it's all you. Anyway, I also... I found out today, I went to the dentist, and apparently I spent the entire time lying there with like 2 of my shirt buttons undone. Didn't know that. Anyway, so let's continue. Are you ready? This is Detective Connolly Gets Filmed in 4K. Chapter 1, Cold Cases. We all get burned on a hot case every once in a while, and let's just say my pants were on fire. The murder of Lil Dinky Poo was too much to handle, and Big Daddy needed to cool off. So I did what any self-disrespecting detective would do. I binged, B-I-N-G-E-D. Oh, we're not even in the story, and I'm already misreading my own story. I binged Cold Cases and found myself a good one. And yes, you heard me right the second time I said it. I use Bing. Get over it. The disappearance and suspected death of Marvin Young on Mackinac Island, Michigan, had been on everyone's mind for the past year. It seemed no one could explain how a suburban father could walk into an abandoned house and simply disappear off the face of the earth. I had my suspicions, but needed to drive north to see for myself. Spring Michigan mornings are cold and crisp, like a bag of chips left in the car accidentally overnight. The ferry ride over to the island would have rocked me to a peaceful sleep if the midges weren't swarming into suffocating clouds. I covered my face and shook violently in my seat to keep them away. That is, until a staff member asked if I was having a seizure. When the ferry landed, I sprinted straight through Main Street up to higher ground. Scanning my surroundings, I decided to start my search at the local police station to see what information I could be given there. Now, the police station / courthouse looked like a church that really just liked guns. I walked in and found myself face to face with Deputy Dippersby, the meanest Canadian turned USA deputy in 49 of the 50 states, not counting Louisiana. I knew he would be a hard poutine to crack. My head was held high, my boots heavy with midge corpses, and my eyes burning with fire and conjunctivitis. I marched over and sat down in the seat across from him at his desk. Deputy Dippersby, I do hereby require the official case file for the disappearance of Marvin Young. The weather deputy looked up from his paperwork, a deep-seated hatred burning into my soul. Oh, of course. Let me just get your name and credentials there, sir. He pinned down me. Oh, he had me pinned in a corner. And you know what happens to wild animals who are pinned. They bite. I'll have you know my father is John Mackinac, owner and God president of this here island. So if you ever want to hear from your wife and son again, you had better give me that file, you newfie. Dippersby stood and reached for his belt. I knew I was dead. He was the fastest draw in all of North America, and I was but a measly world-famous detective. I dove to the ground, covering my head. You must be Detective England Wow, I turned into Swedish Chef. Sorry, Canadians. You must be England Connolly. A feller from the ferry called over about you on account of the fake seizures. You need any help there, son? I hopped to my feet. Never by the likes of a Canadian, you and your inaccurately named bacon. I spat. Okay then, I'll just go get you the file. Sit and I'll have Dorothy get you a cup of coffee. These spring Michigan mornings are colder and crispier than a bag of crisp left in the car overnight. I fell to my knees. What kind of cruel god would give mind-reading powers to the likes of a Canadian? And what in the world are crisps? Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Dorothy sitting, and when she caught me looking in her direction, she quickly hung up the phone. She made her way over to the kitchenette and offered me that cup of coffee, which was but a thin disguise, as I saw the bag of coffee grounds was Tim Hortons brand. Not even our dirty bean water was sacred on this unholy island. Dragging myself up into the sitting position, I threw the steaming cup towards Dippersby as he approached. Oh, looks like you spilled your coffee on there, friend. No worries, I was getting nippy, and I wouldn't want that toasty coating of Good Joe to go to waste. This man was tougher than the ice lakes his mother birthed him on. I snatched the file out of his hand in disgust. Ugh, there's coffee stains on this. You Canadians can't even keep your cleaning filing system. What? You Canadians can't even keep a clean filing system, can you? You just pour your Timmies all over the world and claim what's yours. Dippersby chuckled. Now I will say that file doesn't include the ghost reports we've had of late. A couple of folks have mentioned seeing him wandering around late at night. We investigated, but never found anything. I snorted and opened the file, beginning my search for any and all relevant information. It seemed that Marvin was a husband and father to the Young family here on the island. He was a street artist who painted caricatures of tourists, and his wife was a teacher at the local elementary school. On the day of his disappearance, a neighbor said he heard an argument break out at the Young household at 2 in the morning, and Marvin's wife, Silva, afterwards said they fought about finances. Marvin stormed out of the house and was seen west of his house by a bartender going home for the night. Marvin was going into an abandoned house. I say house a lot in the script, don't I? Marvin was going into an abandoned house, which had been hit hard by a storm the year prior and was neglected by the owner. That was the last Marvin was seen. An investigation launched 2 days later after Silva got worried that he really wasn't going to come home. Nothing was found at the abandoned house. The wilderness was searched and no sign of him was found. His close friend Jenna kept logs at the dock and said no boats or ships were missing or reported leaving the night of his disappearance. This was a classic cold case, topped with no leads. I flipped up my trench coat, shoved the file into the back of my thong, and Irish goodbye to the deputy right to his face. Let me tell you, it felt good. I was making my way towards the exit when a fit man in all black raced into the department in front of me. He was about to pass me when he stopped, looked at my gorgeous trench coat. Our eyes met and he asked, "Are you Mr. Connolly?" I scoffed. "That's Detective Connolly to you, dear citizen. May I help you?" The man put his hand out and tried to catch his breath. I'm Danny Slaw, producer of the documentary The Maniac Mystery. Nope, The Mackinac Mystery. We began filming our story on Marvin Young last week. I just heard that someone was looking into the Young case and came down to meet you. Narrowing my eyes, I inquired, "And how do you hear that I was looking into the case, Mr. Slaw?" "Oh, word travel fast around here. It's a small island with loose lips. Anyway, I was wondering, do you have any leads on the case so far?" I looked him up and down skeptically. I think I should keep information like that to myself, Mr. Slaw. He gave a warm smile. Well, I'm actually proposing that we work together on this. Sylvia Young has agreed to be interviewed for a documentary, so I could introduce you to her. And we have permission from the state to film in the abandoned house, which we could get you into as well. I think both of our efforts will be well served if you join forces with me on this. Something felt off about the man, but this seemed like a good way for me to gain access to key areas and to keep tabs on the weirdo. Alright, Slaw, how about I meet you at the Young house in an hour? His face lit up. That sounds great. I'll see you over there. The man spun on his heels and marched out of the station. I could have just left with him, but I had to check something first. I wandered over to Dorothy's desk, picked up her phone, and hit the redial button. Through the window, Slaw reached into his back pocket, looked down at his phone, and then at the station. I dropped the phone and made my way out the back exit. Hello.
Hello.
So, I'm not the greatest reader in the world, nor,
So my
literature
question
expert.
actually is, did you really experience that wave of midges when you were on the ferry over to Mackinac?
It was actually on the ferry back. The way to Mackinac. So we showed up like 2 days before the midge season started. So when we were there for the first 2 days, it was grand. We went around. It was great. We did what we wanted. No issues. On the way back, it was so bad. I was afraid to open my eyes because I thought they would land on them. And when we finished our little vacation, which basically we just had to stay inside for most of it, we were going to stop at a hotel on the way back. And the hotel was blackened from all the midges. If you looked at it, you were like, it's supposed to be yellow, but I can see it's not right now. And I didn't want to go inside, but my wife, Shannon, she made me.
So we got midges in Cleveland right along Lake Erie.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't last long, but it would be a mess, especially with the revolving doors downtown, because the guts would just get
Squished.
spread.
Yeah.
And you're right. You'd go out for a walk on the lakefront, but you couldn't open your mouth.
Yeah, it gets so
Extra
bad.
protein.
Oh my God, that's disgusting. Thanks for that. No, it got so bad that I was like, it's really not worth being here. And Shannon disagreed, said it was fine, and that I need to grow up. And so that's fine. Here we are. It's been a couple of years. 1 year, actually. Anyway, next chapter. That is the name of the chapter, next chapter. There was nothing too interesting about the Young house at first glance. It was just a normal suburban cookie-cutter home that looked the same as the house to the left and to the right. I knocked on the door and was greeted by not Mrs. Young, but by Slaw. Hey, come on in. I got here a little early just to let her know you were coming by. Alrighty then, I sighed. Alrighty then, I sighed as we entered the house. This man had a little too much energy for me. The house looked just as dreadfully normal on the inside as it did on the outside. I kicked my shoes off and followed Slaw into the kitchen, where a docile Mrs. Young sat waiting by her dining table. I reached my hand out in greeting, and she finally met my eyes. Hello, Mrs. Young. I'm Detective Connolly. She gave a polite smile and replied, It's very nice to meet you, sir. Danny here told me you'd be dropping by. How can I help you? I pulled a Sharpie out of my breast pocket and began taking notes on my right calf. Well, I really just want to get an idea of what Marvin was thinking right before he disappeared last year. The police report said you two fought about your finances before he left. Is that correct? Silva took a deep breath. Yes, that's right. He wanted to turn our spare bedroom into an art studio, but we didn't have the money for that. And I wanted to turn that room into a nursery for our youngest son, whom I was pregnant with. I nodded. Now, this must have been a heated argument if even your neighbors heard. Why was Marvin so upset? Marv said it was the next step in his career, moving from characters to portraits, and that I was stopping him. I said he could just do portraits out on Main Street and that he didn't need a space here. We just disagreed, so he stormed out. Did he say where he was going? Silva shook her head. I assumed either to his friend Jenna's or to the bar. I didn't care, I was just happy he was gone. Silva's expression turned sour as she shot menacing glances over my shoulder. I turned to see Slaw standing behind me, looking down at the notes on my leg. Turning back, I continued. Now, I heard that there have been some sightings of him recently, and people are attributing it to his ghost. Any thoughts on that? She began to fidget with a coffee mug that she seemed to have finished long before I arrived. I supposed it could be him if I died, though, I wouldn't want to stay here. I always figured he'd wandered the coast and drowned, his body turned to fish shit after all this time. Oh, hold on. His body turned to fish shit after all this time. She practically spat every word, as if cursing his name. Her tolerance was shrinking, so I got one last question in. Did Marvin have any enemies or people he just generally disagreed with? Her shoulders relaxed. Other than me, no, he didn't fight with anyone. Well, Mrs. Young, thank you for your time. If I need anything else, I'll drop by. I stood up and Slaw took a step back. He smiled. Well, I hope you can get something more out of that information than we could. He patted me on the back and walked to the entrance. He sat down on the hutch by the door, I just behind him. Pulling out my trusty shoehorn, a voice echoed behind the hall from me. Whoop, that's not English. A voice echoed down the hall from behind me. Oh, Detective, I almost forgot. She appeared from around the corner and I turned. I was told Marvin had a small fight with his friend Jenna 2 days before he disappeared. I heard Slaw snap upright from behind me as he called out in a strangely stern voice. How do you know what they fought about? Her voice was almost a whisper. No, I'm sorry. I gotta start reading this right, guys. Let me back up. I heard Slaw snap. Oh my gosh. I give up. You do it.
I heard Slaw snap upright from behind me as he called out in a strangely stern voice. Do you know what they fought about? Her response was almost a whisper. No, I'm sorry.
Thanks. That was really tripping me up. I called back. That's okay, Mrs. Young. Thank you for your time. Slaw and I finished getting our shoes on and stepped out into the neighborhood, basking a moment in the sun's heat. I looked west for the abandoned house and suggested to Slaw we head there next. Looking down at my leg notes, I thought out loud, maybe we should go find Jenna and see what they were arguing about. Slaw chuckled. Wouldn't we all? Jenna left Mackinac shortly after Marvin disappeared. She got a job in Montana. Really? I said. Doing what? Slaw shook his head, watching his feet walk down the road. I whipped the file out of my thong and opened it up. Says here she worked down at the docks.
Leg notes? Calf notes?
Calf notes.
How did you come up with that?
Well, I was like, he can't be normal and just make notes, on a piece of paper. He's got to, where else can you put him? Well, hand and arm is still kind of normal, but on your leg, that's nice and weird. Yes, I just try and find the weirdest body parts. Not inappropriate. Yeah, don't get dirty minds. I hear what you're thinking out there. Just weird, okay? Alrighty. Next chapter. Spooky House. I hope you guys enjoy my chapter titles. Cold Case, Next Chapter, and Spooky House so far. I think they're gold standard. I could win some chapter naming awards here soon. All right, here we go. The abandoned house, The abandoned house was as much as you can expect. The place was empty aside from moldy floorboards, beer bottles, and other byproducts of high school parties. We kicked some trash around but didn't find anything of use. I turned to Slaw. Has your production crew searched this house already? Slaw tested his weight on the stairs. Yeah, but we weren't allowed in the basement. Dippersby said something about the house possibly caving in. My brow furrowed. Well, that doesn't make sense. If the house is at risk of collapsing, it wouldn't matter what floor of the house you're on. He wouldn't have let you in at all. He shrugged. Canadians, am I right? Those folks make no sense. I mean, do they not care what part of the peg of bacon comes from? They're ridiculous. While I couldn't disagree with that, the basement remark made me curious. Slaw, I'm going down there. He looked up quickly. I don't think you should do that. The deputy clearly said he didn't want us to go down there. For our safety, of course. I shook my head. No, I think he's hiding something. The basement is right on the foundation. Walking around there shouldn't collapse the building. I'm going down. Slaw gulped hard. Slaw gulped hard. All right, Let me just breathe, guys. Okay, let's keep going. Slaw gulped hard. All right, I'll follow you. We slowly descended, one creaky step after another. The basement was dimly lit by cracks of light seeping through the ceiling. I turned my phone flashlight on and looked around. There was about a foot of water covering the small room, but nothing of note floating or stood in the space. There was nothing on the walls, nor beer cans floating, and nothing but dust to fill the room. I lost my spot, guys. Taking the plunge, I stepped my foot down to find the floor was actually carpeted. Slaw followed behind me, but stayed on the step right above the water level. He looked around. Yeah, I don't think there's anything here. Let's head back up. Yeah. I looked back to him and noticed something under the staircase. Wallpaper was peeling back in a perfect rectangle, as if it were cut. Dragging my feet through the primordial sludge, I felt around the wall until I found a small panel that clicked in. Suddenly, the entire slot in the wallpaper pushed out, and an opening revealed itself. The door was solid and heavy, but with force it creaked open. Through it was a pitch-black tunnel. The standing water started pouring through the doorway. Slaw, there's a path down here. Slaw hung over the railing and trying to look down, which cracked under his weight. The ancient wood gave way and he fell face first into the crusty water. He splashed and flailed. I grabbed the back of his shirt and pulled him up. He gasped, threw up, and heaved for a couple minutes. Are you okay? I asked, not really concerned. He spit, No, I'm not. We need to go. I think I'm bleeding. I laughed. All right, well, you can head back to Main Street. I'm going down here. Slaw shook like a dog, splashing me in the process. No, I really think you need to come with me. I think I'm going to be sick. I stepped through the doorway. You're a grown man. I'm sure you can make it alone, buddy. Fully in the tunnel, I stomped in a couple places to test the grip of the now water-soaked ground. Slaw's voice shook. Are you sure you want to do this? I chuckled again. Oh, don't worry, buddy. You'll be all right. I stared down the tunnel. Slaw sighed. Suit yourself. There was a loud creak behind me as the light dimmed. I whipped around to see the door slam shut. I ran back and body slammed the exit, but not before the door clicked and locked itself back into place. All right, guys. Next chapter's called Tunnel Run. I know. Famous chapter title, right? So, how you enjoying it so far?
I'm like crying because I'm laughing so hard.
Yeah. It's a
I had to
fun
turn
one.
my microphone off just because I kept chuckling and laughing.
You can laugh. It's fine. It's part of the process. All right. Luckily, this one's nice and short. So hopefully, if I screw this up, I owe every audience member $5. That's going to get expensive quick. Here we go. Chapter whatever. Tunnel Run. The door wouldn't budge, so there was only one thing to do. With my phone flashlight on, I turned to face the tunnel. I could only hope it ended in light. The ground beneath me was dirt turned mud thanks to the water, and the tunnel's downward slope didn't help me stay upright. Slipping and sliding was the fastest way to go, and mud streaked across the buttocks. Oh my gosh, the buttocks of my white leather pants. The speed I achieved was terrifying me, but to my relief, a light ahead shone bright. I kept running/sliding, and the light grew brighter and brighter on my face. At last, I could see past the opening to what looked like the lake. The lake? Yes, the lake, Jack. The end of the tunnel was lined in grass, and coming out, I stepped onto a dirt beach. Did I miss a line?
No.
I definitely imagined more happening in my head than what I wrote. I think I owe a lot of money at this point. The end of the tunnel was lined in grass, and coming out, I stepped onto a dirt beach. The sun shone bright above as I took in my surroundings. To my right was what looked to be the dockyard, where dozens of boats were lined up. To my left was the end cap of Main Street, where the police department sat. I climbed up the dirt beach up to the main road and waddled my mud butt over. Slamming open the door. My God, I gotta make this font bigger. Slamming open the door, I marched right to Dippersby. Deputy, I know what happened to Marvin Young, and Danny Slaw knows too. He's trying to kill me. Dippersby's eyes widened, but he was looking past me. Turning around, there stood Silva with a massive black eye. She held a man by the ear in one hand and a gun in the other.
All right, we reached the deliberation.
I do not do this professionally. Talk or read, clearly.
You're reading fast, too.
I
I've
know.
learned that I have to read at a much slower rate or I trip over things, too.
I just need to make this text much bigger because I keep like almost not seeing some of the words. So
Somebody needs to go to the eye doctor.
no. Okay, deliberation.
You want me to read it?
I'd appreciate it.
Well, Connolly's gotten himself into another fine mess. He knows Danny Slaw is the bad guy. But what's his crime?
What is his crime?
Kidnapping, because there's a missing person.
There is a missing person.
Smuggling, because there's a tunnel.
There is a tunnel.
Menacing, because there's a creepy house.
There is a creepy house.
Coercion, because there's something scaring Silva.
Silva is scared.
And conspiracy, because Danny isn't working alone.
Danny ain't working alone.
All right, so here's what Connolly thinks he knows.
Yes, he doesn't know he knows.
Husband and father Marvin Young disappeared from Mackinac Island. He was last seen going into an abandoned house after an argument with his wife. Recently, there have been Marvin sightings. Locals think it's his ghost.
Yes, goo.
Marvin had a good friend Jenna who worked on the docks. She left Mackinac shortly after Marvin disappeared and showed up in Montana.
Oh, interesting.
Deputy Dippersby shared the file with Connolly. Dorothy called Shaw to let him know Connolly was investigating.
Interesting.
Almost a year after Marvin disappeared, Danny Shaw arrived on the island to make a documentary about Marvin.
Yes, he did.
Silva Young admits to arguing with Marvin. He wanted to turn their spare bedroom into an art studio while she wanted it for the soon-to-come baby.
Mothers. Am I right? Just trying to make homes for their children. How dare they?
In the old house, Connolly is warned against going into the basement because Deputy Dippersby said it would collapse.
Well, actually, because Slaw said Deputy Dippersby said it was collapsed.
You're right. Connolly discovers a tunnel in the basement, and when he investigates, Shaw locks him in. Luckily, the tunnel leads to the harbor. All right, so it's time to turn up the collar on your own trench coat and decide, what do we collar Shaw for?
Yes, so once again, folks, it's kidnapping, smuggling, menacing, coercion, and conspiracy.
Jack, why don't you play a few seconds of music while people lodge their guesses?
Yeah, of course. I don't know why I turned off my piano.
You turned it off? The light's on.
That's because I turned it back on. Aha. Nice, peaceful music for you to guess what the answer is during.
Are you like randomly pressing keys?
No, this is very deliberate.
Doesn't look deliberate.
Do you feel the anxiety, folks? Who did it? Wait, we know who did it. Why did he do it?
All right. So, Jack, I have to tell you, I don't know the answer to this one.
No, so you're gonna guess?
I'm gonna guess coercion because something's scaring Silva. Not that the others aren't real, maybe too true, but that's the one I'm going with.
That's a good answer. I don't know if it's true either. Can't remember. All right, but let's all find out together, folks, in the final chapter entitled Connolly Knows. Here we go. While I had only seen a couple pictures of Marvin Young, there wasn't much question on whether or not the man being held by his ear was really him. He was screaming, "Stop it! I said I'd come with you! Let go!" Silva let go and kicked his knee in from behind him, toppling the man. Deputy Dippersby stepped forward. "Well, Marvin, it's been a while, hasn't it?" Marvin looked up, cupping his ear. Yeah, deputy, it's great to see your ugly Canadian mug again." The deputy motioned towards another officer, and Marvin was plopped into a seat. Silva gave her gun to an officer, walked up to Marvin, and gave him one last good slap across the face. Even the officers flinched. "This piece of shit and Danny threatened my children's life if I didn't go along with their little documentary." Dippersby pointed at an officer and yelled, "Call the Fury and tell them to report any sightings of Danny Slaw. Then call the Coast Guard. He may have taken a boat. Silva collapsed into a bench, close to angry tears. Deputy Dippersby scratched his head. How did you do it, Marvin? How did you manage to disappear off the face of an island? Marvin didn't answer, so I filled in the blanks. There's a hidden tunnel from the abandoned house down to the docks. I assume he took a boat and left. It wasn't noted or reported by the docks, though, because it was his friend Jenna that ran the books. Silva let out a forced laugh. Ha! Oh, she was more than just a friend, but it didn't last too long, did it, Marv? Or else you wouldn't have bothered magically reappearing here, would you? Marvin looked up. Oh, what do you know? I knelt down next to him. Well, I know that you and Slaw are in cahoots, and that whatever your plan with the documentary was didn't account for me showing up and blowing the case open, dipshit. I've been on you since I caught Dorothy tipping you off. Wait.
Is close enough. Keep going.
No, I've been on to you since I caught Dorothy tipping Slaw off. Dippersby snapped over to Dorothy, who looked quite startled. He offered me $500 to call him if anyone came asking about the Young case. I just wanted to get some coffee that was better than your lousy Tim Hortons, Dippersby. I cracked a smile. Maybe Dorothy wasn't that bad after all. One of the officers' radios crackled to life, stating that Slaw was caught trying to steal a dinghy, and he was being brought back to the station. Dippersby returned to Silva and sat down to the bench next to her. He put his arm around her and asked, "What happened?" She was refusing to cry. Slaw was halfway through making the documentary when Marvin came back to join our life again. I thought Marv wanted to be a father and go back on his actions, running away with that tramp Jenna. In reality, he got dumped and needed money. Slaw offered Marvin half the revenue of his documentary to pretend that he was still missing. I said no, I just wanted to be a family again, but Marvin agreed and they threatened my children. This asshole has been in my basement ever since. I went down there half an hour ago to give him his dinner when I heard Slaw over the radio saying, "Abandon the plan and get out." So I took Marv's gun, shot the radio, and marched his ass down here. With Slaw gone, there was only one man standing between me and my children's safety. I walked over. I wouldn't have figured it out if you hadn't told me about Jenna. She pointed to her black eye. I'm glad it was worth it. They weren't too happy with me letting that slip. The doors of the station were kicked open by Slaw, who was being held by two officers whilst kicking around maniacally. His eyes were wild, and he locked onto me quick. You could have just left us alone and let us make our quick buck and live in blissful ignorance. Dippersby held his hand up, and the officers carrying Slaw stopped. Mr. Slaw, I have to ask, why a documentary? Slaw slurred his angry speech through spit and rage. I'd already got approval and funding for the stupid documentary. What was I supposed to do? Stop filming halfway through production because the missing person decided he wanted to come home and pick up his life right where he left it as a regular suburban dad? Where's the story? Where's the mystery? Is there even a piece of shit? Well, that's not English. What mystery is there in a piece of shit running away from his lover, getting dumped, and crawling back? I am a survivor, and I make do. This documentary was going to be launching my career. Dippersby thought a minute, shrugged, and waved the officers past. Slaw was dragged to a cell, kicking and screaming in all his glory. And with that, another cold case was solved by the amazing Detective Connolly.
Nice job, Connolly.
Beautiful.
So it was coercion?
I guess.
Yeah, I guess. The author guesses.
The author guesses.
Well, wasn't kidnapping.
Was not kidnapping.
Was not smuggling.
Was not smuggling.
Menacing? Not really.
Not really menacing.
And there was a conspiracy, but conspiracy in itself doesn't seem to be a crime. It's a conspiracy
existed. The conspiracy wasn't the crime.
Yeah. So
it was not the crime of conspiracy. It was a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
There, that's what it was. A theory. It was a book theory. About Jack Wolff. Jack Wolff is a Ball State University student studying media production and music recording. He has been podcasting for 5 years now and has written a number of short stories for the Mysteries to Die For show. Oh, wait. You read it. I forgot. We can have music now.
I don't have your edited version. When he's not podcasting, he is doing what?
He is starting some new art project, writing and shooting films for his own enjoyment, or playing with his psychopathic border collie puppy.
You can follow him on Instagram at
WhackJolf.
That's Jack Wolff with the first letters switched. Or if you're bored and want to email him, don't worry, he's bored too. And can be found at jwilde, that's JWILDE 317 at gmail.com. All right, on January 9th, Season 9 will start dropping. It is Stuff That Can Kill You. So this is all about the weapons, but not trite things like guns and knives. We're talking about murders done using gravity, motion, mechanical, electrical energy, pressure, sound, radiation, biology, chemical, and temperature. Be sure to join in because it's gonna get messy. That wraps up this episode and this season of Mystery to Die For. Support our show by subscribing, telling a mystery lover about us, and giving us a 5-star review. Check out our website, m2d4podcast.com, for links to this author's season, to this season's author. Mysteries to Die For is hosted by TG Wolff and Jack Wolff. Detective Connolly Gets Filmed in 4K was written by Jack Wolff and performed by Jack Wolff. Music and production are by Jack Wolff. There's a lot of Jack Wolff in this episode, but the episode art is by me. Join us next week for a toe tag, which, as you all know, is a fresh chapter. I just switched the words again. The first chapter from a fresh release in the mystery, crime, or thriller genre. And then again, come back in January. We'll start with a toe tag and then dive into a sticky situation with stuff that can kill you. All right, Jack, take us out.